Good morning, folks. You got Mitchell here again. We're going to do a fun one today. Today we are going to do how to make rock candy or sugar crystal candy. You can call it whatever you want. Basically, it's sugar on a stick. Kids love it. It's a lot of fun. I got some different colors that we've got here. I bought these ones here at the store just to show you what they're selling at the store. And then I'm going to make my own and show you how similar they are. There's a lot of different variations of how to make these. And I think mine works just great, so I'm going to share it with you. It's an easy recipe, it's fun, get the kids in on this, you know, let them do the food coloring, all that fun stuff. It sits for a few days so you can keep bringing the kids back and showing it to them, and they'll get all excited as it grows. It's like they accomplished something at the end of the task. So it's great stuff, and we're just going to jump right into her. So I'm just going to adjust the camera and we'll go right at her. You can see the different colors that I've got there. We're going to move these out of the way here so that we can get at her. This recipe is so simple. Pot, measuring cup. You need 1 cup of water. 1 cup of water. Just dump it in. There's nothing that is complicated about this. I've got white sugar. Pretty simple stuff. I'm going to take 3 cups of white sugar. There's 1. Oh, that's not that easy. There's 2. Give or take a little bit, doesn't matter. Basically what we're trying to do here is make a nice sugary solution. So we've got 1 cup of water, we've got 3 cups of sugar. Now we've got our food coloring, but I like to add the food coloring last. Once I've poured it into my cups, then I'll add the food coloring. This way I can do a whole bunch of different colors on the same batch that I'm doing. You want to add flavoring. I'm Canadian, so obviously we got some maple flavor here. And all you're going to do is add 1/2 of a teaspoon. Nothing crazy. Just enough to give it a little oomph. And we're going to take this and put this on the stove, and we're going to bring it to a boil. You want to bring it to a boil. And as soon as your solution, and you got to be stirring this the whole time, okay? As soon as it comes to a boil, you want to take this off, because otherwise you're going to go to a soft crack or a hard crack stage and you're going to boil out the water. So turn off your heat, take it off, instantly it stops. Happy place. Now we're going to take it over to our counter. The next step is important. So we got to make sure that we've got a cup that's the right size, okay? You don't want to go too big, you don't want to go too small. I mean, I guess you can use whatever's in your cupboard. I got these little ones from the dollar store. I mean, they're the perfect size. If you think that I'm trying to make something relevant to this, you know, that's pretty relevant to the size. So that's why I got this. I mean, they're not going to be as pretty as these ones are, but it is what it is. So here's the deal, okay? I went out and I got some cake pop sticks. You can get them at all the craft stores. You know, we actually made some cake pops the other day and we had some left over, so that's what I've got. And the idea behind this concept is cup, okay? You want the stick to go in, but you don't want the stick to be touching the sides, you don't want the stick to be touching the bottom. It has to be suspended in the middle, because you will get some crystals that are going to grow on the outside of this cup as you go through the procedure. And if you have your stick touching it, boom, she's not going to work, right? So we'll go through the steps of clearing the crystals and taking the crystals off the top as we get to that. But for these purposes right now, make sure your stick is not touching anything. It's just suspended in the cup. So my favorite way to do that, some people are using pipe cleaners and things like that. I don't like the pipe cleaner thing at all. I mean, they're bendy and flimsy and they got all that fur on them. Yes, I'm sure it's going to stick a little bit better, but I just don't like that at all. So I'm going to show you what I do here, okay? Go back to the sugar. I just got to take some sugar. Take a cup, okay? Pour some sugar into your cup. Nothing crazy. So I've got my sugar cup and I've got my stick. Well, let's not jump ahead here. I want to show you how to suspend it in the cup first before we go to that point. So I'm using clothespins, okay? Now here's the deal. My cup, my clothespin, it just barely fits. And the point is that you put the stick in that part. So how does that work for me? You know what I mean? It doesn't. So you got to improvise sometimes. I don't like spending money on stuff at all, so I just make do with what I got. I got 2 clothespins. I've pinched them together. Pretty straightforward, pretty simple. All I'm going to do, it takes 2 hands to do this. I'm going to slide my stick right through the middle of the two. Okay? Nothing complicated about that at all. We're not purchasing anything stupid. Suspended in the cup, not touching anything. Piece of cake all day long, right? So there's that ready to go. So now here's the thing, okay? Before we do this, we're going to want to take our cups. I'm going to point you down here so you can see what's going on now. Okay, there's our station. So before we do this, we want to get our stuff set. I'm just going to do 2 for the purposes of not being here all day. So I've got my 2 cups ready to go. I've got my clip number 1 ready to go. I got my clip number 2 ready to go. So we're in that happy place. Here's the trick, okay? My solution is right here. I don't know if you can see it or not. You can't, but it's irrelevant. The solution is right here. Here's what I'm going to do. I'm going to dip my stick into my sugar solution, okay? Just like so. And I've already got it all set up. So I've got a little coating on the end of the stick there. Now, I'm going to take that and I'm going to dunk it into actual sugar. Okay? Where's the camera? There. I've dunked it in the actual sugar, and what I've done here is I've created a little base coat. Okay? So basically when I put it in, because we're not using pipe cleaners, it's going to give it something to attach to, because that's the whole idea behind the pipe cleaners. Look, dunk. You can see I got a little layer on the end there. Right into my sugar solution. Doesn't have to be anything crazy. We're just trying to get a little bit of a coating on the end there. And now I've got them both ready. Yeah, the idea behind the pipe cleaners is the fuzziness of them is something for the crystals to grab onto. Well, this here's the same concept. I've started it off with something, I'll put it in slow. It's something for the sugar to attach to and grow on. That's an important tip. Don't lose it. Food coloring. Easy, easy. I think that we are going to do... What do you think? Red and blue? Let's go with blue. 1, 2, 3, 4. And let's do a red. 1, 2, 3, 4. So now I've got my food coloring in, and this is pretty simple stuff here, folks. Take your stuff without making a huge mess. Pour it in. Pour it in. That's it. I've got a spoon here somewhere. I like to give it a little stir, just because I did just add food coloring. A little stir, try not to go crazy and get it up all over the sides. And there it is. We now have our 2 colors. Piece of cake, right? We're going to take our stick, which we've already sugar coated, and you just slowly put it in. Like I said, make sure she's not touching the wall. If she's got any kind of a movement to her at all, you got to make sure you adjust it right away, because that's the last thing you want to do is, there you go. Again, a little bit of sugar coating on it. Put it in, and then just adjust it to make sure that we're going to that place. There. Sometimes you have to move things around a little bit, but it's the nature of the beast, right? There we go. So we're just going to let these sit for a couple days, and I'll come back to you and I'll show you the progress as we go along. Let's point it up so you can see it, and I'll come back to you. So I'll come back when we get a little bit closer to having something like this. Okay folks, we're doing our update here. So you can see what we're trying to do. We're obviously trying to make these, right? So look at the size. You know, that's what we're going for right there. There's a trick I need to show you. So you're going to get to a point where if you see inside the cup, there's a hard crunch. How the hell am I going to show that? There's a hard crust on the top. It forms from the sugar. What you want to do is you want to go in and break that, okay? And you want to take that out, or at least take that, and then take your piece out without breaking anything, because that's not what we're trying to do. Look at that. Oh, bad camera work. Look at that. That's turning out pretty darn good. That's 2 days in, okay? I'm going to give it another day just to see. Now here's what you're going to do. You take that out of the syrup solution, take your new one, put it back in, okay? And then all we're going to do is we're going to drain out the chunky crap that's in here, or we'll scoop it out. Sometimes it's easier said than done, because it is going to form on all the sides. But the idea, here, I got an idea. Take the cup, put the fork in front of her, and just pour your syrup solution in. So what we're trying to do here is we're trying to get the chunks out, and it does form on the side of the cup in a bad kind of way. And we don't want all the chunky nasty on the side of the cup, right? So you're going to lose some here. Hopefully we're going to end up with enough so that it'll cover our stick. And I say it's going to be just barely. There we go. So there we go. We're just going to leave it for one more day. But basically what we've done, we've taken out all the chunks and nasty and we put her back in. So I'm going to leave that one more day and I'll show you what it is. And then you're just going to repeat the same step. We have our red one here. So we're just going to break the crust on the top, right? Without screwing up our thing. There we go. Look at our red one. It's not terrible, eh? Again, I'm trying to go for this. You can make them bigger if you want to make them bigger. I only dabbed that much of it with sugar. Remember that? That's one of the tricks about this. You don't have any up here. There's nothing sticking to it. I dipped this part in sugar, and that's why it starts there. And look at that. I mean, I think we're doing a pretty damn good job. And I'll show you the finished product too. But same concept. This to that. And then just take your liquid out of this. We don't want all the chunks. Hopefully we're getting a good camera shot here. You know, if you get a couple chunks, it's not the end of the world. But we're just trying not to have everything around the sides and all the big clumps. So we'll pour it in. And I mean, if it doesn't cover the whole thing, well, it's not a big deal. I mean, you're going to want to leave these out to dry before you start eating them anyways. It'll just make the bottom bigger like a big fat lollipop. There we go. I'm trying to get every drop of juice I can. And that's it right there. I'll keep coming back. Alright folks, it's Mitchell here. We're going to do the last part of the video here on how to make the candy sticks, or the rock candy. So these are the ones that I bought at the store. This is what I was trying to make. Sorry I haven't got back to you sooner. We had a hell of a lot of snow. I think I'm going to share that with you real quick actually. Look at that. That's the deck. That's a snowfall. We're in Canada, but that's a lot of friggin' snow we got. So that's why I didn't make another video. Anyways, let's go right into her here. I'm going to point you at it. Okay, so we've got the ones that we bought at the store. Now here's the ones that we made. We've got right there. Now here's the trick, okay? All you do for this one, since we've already picked off the top, remember we had to look inside and there's all the crustiness that goes on it? Well, on these ones here, all you're going to do is take the cup, squeeze it. Give it a little squeeze like that, because the hard crust sugar we already took off the last time when we dumped it. This time here, it'll just come right off. And just give it a little wipe, just to get those little particles of whatever off of that. Okay. No need for the clips anymore. And there we go. Now you have to let these dry. I usually just put them on a plate and let them dry. But I mean, this is the store-bought one. And this is ours. So we're not too far off the marker here. Obviously theirs is a little bit more uniform, but that's pretty darn close. And there it is. Nice rock candy. So we have the red one. Let's see what the blue one looks like. Again, you gotta let them dry. Right? Give her a little shake to get the excess off. You could even give it a lick since that's going to be some kind of sugary. There it is. That's our blue one. My blue color didn't work out as good as theirs, but look at that. I think that that's a pretty good recipe on how to do this. I mean, considering this one's store-bought, this one's ours, that's pretty close. So anyways, I hope you enjoyed the video, and if you like, subscribe to my channel. I'll keep making more.